not sure if this is a thing in other parts of the country since, well, I've only lived in one part of the country my whole life. But when I was in elementary school, near the beginning of our last year there, the counselor and teachers came in and said, before you graduate and leave this school, you're going to have to do 5 hours of community service. Which, if you don't know what that is, it's just volunteer work. That's it. I don't know why they wanted to make it sound like we're paying our life sentence, but that's it. It's just volunteering. But at this point, we're all like 11. Most of us are doing Fortnite dances and yelling Walmart in the back of a classroom. Do you really think a place will look at us and think we're responsible enough to take care of bagging the chicken in the back unsupervised? Of course not. They'd rather have Donald Trump as a surprise guest instead of us. The only place that'd pick you up without question is the school itself. So being the smart lad that I was, that's what I did. Volunteer at the school's family market since Mr. Jalopy was already volunteering there. So after I knew where I was gonna go, I got there, and my job was to stand there and tell people the limit of how much of a certain thing they could get, even though there was already a sign that told you that information. Oh wow, well this is easy. And once people actually started showing up, I basically just stood there awkwardly and said, 2. Yep, you can only get 2. Wait, is that the Baja Butt Blast? And this process continued for a couple of months. I'd go in, sort of hope set up, then talk with Mr. Jalopy instead of paying attention. But 1 month, the whole status quo of my job got changed drastically. Instead of having me awkwardly stand there, they made us be outside the cafeteria and ask people certain questions that would determine something that I don't know what it was. And as a person who didn't want a lot of social interaction, this kind of scared me. How do you expect me to talk to all these hundreds of people if just last month I was barely able to talk to one person? You can't do this to me! Actually, we can. So just do the job or you'll catch these hands. Woo! Social interaction. Who hates that? Not me. But even though most of this job required social interaction, it did have some perks to it. Yeah, where everyone else spent setting up, organizing, and dropping things, we'd be outside chilling watching YouTube videos and ripping tickets since for some reason you needed to get one to get inside and get food. And that hour of the month quickly became one of the best hours of the month. You could procrastinate on that big project you're scared of and still have it count as community service. And that's why I support distractions, and that's why this job was easier than the other one. Until the people started rolling in. And you know, I like to think that I'm not really a socially anxious person. The build-up to an interaction has always felt worse than the actual interaction. So once it started and I actually started talking to people, it wasn't that bad. So I thought, wow, this is going to be way easier than I thought. But I wouldn't be able to make a video about this if nothing happened. So obviously, I was dead wrong. Since I live in an area where a lot of Hispanic and Spanish-speaking people live, a lot of those people showed up. And since a big portion of them couldn't speak English very well since English is a stupid language, I would try to save time by guessing if they spoke Spanish purely by the appearance or if I had heard them speak it in the line. Which basically became an involuntary yet voluntary twisted game of Are You Racist? And I know that you're thinking that if I didn't want to appear rude or anything, I could have just not done this. But you didn't understand. I was just trying to skip the interaction of, alright, how many people are in your household? I don't know speak English. Oh, ¿cuántas personas viven en tu casa? Eso es lo que me estabas preguntando. ¿Qué pregunta tan fácil? 13. Alright, 13. Wait, do you see how much time that wastes? Just purely guessing is way easier. And you know, not to brag or anything, but I never did guess wrong. So you know what that means? I'm amazing! Wait, what did I do wrong this time? But this was just a minor inconvenience. The next thing I'm going to tell you never failed to happen at least once every time we came to volunteer. There'd always be that one person who I just couldn't understand. They'd say one thing, and it'd sound like they just secretly released the original Sonic movie design on some random place in New York. And of course it's New York, because according to media, the only places in the United States are California, New York, and Canada. And I'd just have to sit there and wait until their honking and squeaking was over, just so I could say, excuse me, but what the fuck? And most of the time, the second explanation still wouldn't make much sense. Hi, welcome to Chili's. Hi, I'll ask you again, since you might have misunderstood the question. So how many people are in your household? I'll just assume 4, since that seems to be, reasonable. How many kids are in the house?
1.
Alright, 1, and how many adults?
1.
Okay, 1. Again, I guess there's only 2 people in your household. And you don't look that old, but you know, I'm required to ask this question, government mandated stuff. You know how it goes. I'm going to be publicly executed if I don't do this. So how many seniors are in your household? 6. Alright, wait, what? You know, when I asked for the number of adults, seniors were included in that question, so you're sure that there's not 7 adults?
Yes, 1 adult, 6 seniors.
Alright, I give up. I quit! Here's my resignation! I'm out! Alex, you're volunteering at an elementary school. You're not working as a receptionist at the Igloo Convention. Oh. I take back my resignation! Out. Alright then. Now let me just get it out of the way. It's not their fault that I couldn't understand them. Like I said before, English is just a really hard language and it's very stupid. But wait, hold up, is that not a football player? Yeah, so one of the last times we ever volunteered at my elementary school, somehow the school got an actual NFL player to come to the family market to take pictures and meet people. I have no idea how, since I'm not kidding when I say that the principal admitted to people telling him that our school was the worst school in the county when I was trying to get a job. It was weird. It was out of nowhere, but it happened. But if you're asking, I don't think it was an actual star player since that probably would have cost a lot of money, and it was somebody from the Redskins. We talked to him a bit, and he was actually a pretty cool guy. We took a picture with him even though I had no idea who he was, then we were on our merry way. And at this point, it was the end of the school year, so it was getting really close to the day that we had to submit our final service hours. So a couple days before the last day of school, I submitted them to the counselor and didn't think much about it. I had done at least 8 hours, so I wasn't too worried about it. But since we only needed 5 hours, the stupid counselor decided to only count 5 and discard the other ones. Well, if you clearly didn't care about the service hours, what was the point of doing them? I'm almost 100% sure that these brainless Fortnite-addicted freaks didn't do any of the hours and they're still graduating elementary school. So tell me, what was the point? Why did you lie to us? It's because it looks good on college resumes. Well... That's an okay excuse, but I'm still not going to college anytime soon. I'm still in elementary school. Plus, why do colleges even want to see community service hours? I'm pretty sure that most of us are only doing them because you want them and not because we're actually good people. Jeez, man, have some faith in humanity. Plus, you need them to graduate high school. What's wrong with you? Oh. Anyway, thanks to all the community service hours I had previously done, I was chosen to meet with the principal to see if I could get a special award from the school. And even though I didn't get it, although I was clearly the best choice, I remember that the principal asked me about an after-school program I was in that counted for community service hours. He asked me why it counted as community service hours, and to be honest, I had no idea how it counted. I just took it as an opportunity to use it so I'd have to do less work. So I just kind of awkwardly said some things that we did in the program and hoped he didn't care. Luckily, he didn't ask too much about it, but after that, I was just confused and thinking, why did it count as community service? We never really did anything like dealt with it, yet it still counted. But I didn't think way too much about it and just went to class, and to this day, I still don't know how it counted. Anyway, I have plenty more of these volunteer stories that I could tell you, so if you want a part 2, like, comment, subscribe, all these things. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go ask some people what their social security number is.
Hi. Hello. Welcome to the end of the video. You have received a set of instructions for what to do. They are on screen. If you don't do them, there will be consequences. I will hunt you down. I know your address. If you do not do them, I will publicly dox you on twitter.com. You have been warned. This is not a drill. Do it now or your pet will pay price. It is not worth it, even if you don't have pet. As you should still do it. You have been warned.